What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Jack O'Hara TV. It's episode 771 of The O Show with Mrs. Jennifer Bellinger. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
How many podcasts have you done in total?
Probably just half a dozen.
Half a dozen. That's honestly not a lot.
No.
So I'll wear that as a badge of honor.
It's not a lot.
We were talking before, you're up to many, many, many things.
Yeah.
Like cannabis brand starting here pretty soon. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be out.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're looking to, what, you're a margarita? Or because you kept saying that you've tried dozens of margaritas and you think you could do it better.
Espresso martini.
Espresso martini.
Yes.
See, I don't know. I drink old fashions and Jack and Cokes.
Yeah.
That's
or vodka
about it.
sodas. I mean, it's easy.
Exactly.
But I love my espresso martinis.
I mean, what? So real estate agent too.
Yes.
I think it was Anthony wanted to get into real estate. I
Yeah.
definitely have questions about that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
not easy, but once you get it rolling, you.
Yep. I'm a real estate agent in California and Arizona. So I'm in both
That's huge.
states.
That's
yeah.
huge. You grew up in LA.
Correct.
So you're saying when your parents split, your father was in Kansas City.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Your mother was in LA. Grew up a Chiefs fan too.
Yes, I did.
A lot of winning right now. Maybe
Yeah.
not back then.
Yeah, no.
So like Chiefs fans back in the day, like 30, 40-year-old Chiefs fans, like, no, but we earned it. I can say I'm a Chiefs fan.
Exactly. It's kind
is
of like the
good.
Royals. There's Royals fans, and there's not a whole lot to celebrate lately.
No, not. I mean, they had what they won two. They won one, and then they went to the World Series back to back.
Yeah.
And then the Dodgers, we were talking about before, lost to
Yes.
Houston in 2017. They won in 2020. COVID year, which kind of stunk, but also I feel like it was a cool atmosphere at Globe Life Field
It
in
was
Texas.
actually. It was kind of it was a very unique atmosphere. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Especially for the playoffs, because obviously I was a part of the playoffs with the Yankees when Clay played for them, and that's a whole different experience because obviously being with the Yankees, you've got obviously the police escorts taking you from town. Even when we played the Mets, even just went cross town from the Yankees. He played from the 99, 2000, 2001. So he was part of that dynasty. So we got to experience that. And then, of course, we experienced the playoffs with the Dodgers in Los Angeles.
Yep.
And then we finally got to experience it in the bubble, the Arlington experience. But I'll be honest, that was one of my favorites because you walked from the hotel and we were there the whole time. We were there from the divisional series to the championship series to the World Series. We didn't have to travel. So we literally lived in the hotel for a month.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, was that the entire playoff? Yeah. So
Yeah.
they beat San Diego, they beat Atlanta,
Yep.
then they beat Tampa Bay,
Correct.
all in Globe Life,
Yeah.
which is cool because everybody's spread out too, so you can just be there with the family and enjoy the game.
I know. It was so fun. Yeah.
That's so cool. And I always said that the recent even today with Dave Roberts, I think that is like the coolest tight-knit group of players and front office staff and managers. Like Dave Roberts, I met him once at a First Watch like 3 years ago. He was
Really?
sitting at a table praying with his wife.
Yeah.
And I had like discounts, like coupons or whatever for First Watch. And I ordered like 3 meals. And he's like, "You can eat all that food?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right." And then he went to his waitress like, "Hey, put that on my tab." I'm like,
Wow.
I don't even, like, I knew
That
who Dave
was
Roberts
nice.
was, but I'm like, you don't even know who I am. Like, I think it was during spring training. And I'm like, I'm a big Dodger fan now. Just like whenever they're in it, like Dave Roberts to me is an A1 guy.
Yeah.
Which is really, and that entire team. You got Cody, I'm trying to think, 2020, was Mookie on that team in 2020?
Yes. We
They
got
had,
Mookie that year.
they had just got him. I'm trying to think.
We still had Kike on our team. We still had Justin Turner there.
Chris Taylor.
Yep.
Those were the core guys. Justin Turner, even in Boston, now everybody says he's everybody's favorite.
I know. He's a great guy.
Just all
On and off
great
the field,
family people. Joe Davis, play-by-play guy, is a tremendous human
Oral
being.
Hershiser, he's great too.
Of course, Vince Scully in the day.
Yep.
Amazing human being.
I know.
I mean, it's
And
just
then
a
back
cool.
before, obviously 2021, we lost Tommy Lasorda, but you had Tommy Lasorda going to all the games and flying into Arlington to be there for the World Series. And
Getting to be a part of that celebration.
Yeah.
What a way to end.
He needed that.
Like, what a way to
He was
go
holding
out.
on for that.
No, of course. After
For
that,
sure.
it's like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better than
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
Full circle moment.
No,
You know,
Los
winning.
Angeles is I'll be honest, even though I was telling you earlier, it's a big city, right? But it, to me, because I grew up in Los Angeles, it kind of has that small town feel. I mean, the players are actually really great quality people. The front office is great. They're like family to me.
Yeah.
We're with Boris Agency, and they're like family to me. And I got to know some amazing people that have season tickets down there.
Yep.
And they kind of became like family. So yeah, I mean, it's a great organization, it really is.
So who introduced you to sports early on?
So I am the oldest of 3 brothers.
Nice.
So and then I have 14 months younger than me. I have twin brothers.
Nice.
And then I've got another half brother. So my dad was an athlete. I grew up an athlete, and I don't know, I just loved watching sports with my family. So I guess because I grew up with all brothers.
That is such a cool dynamic
Yeah.
too, because you meet people. It's like, oh, I'm the youngest of like 4 older brothers. I'm like, that's got to be tough.
Yeah.
But you being the oldest, you kind of get to take care of them.
Yeah.
Almost.
So I
What
grew
are
up-
the age differences?
So like I said, my twin brothers are 14 months younger.
Yeah.
And then I've got a half brother that's 12 years younger.
Okay.
So, but I grew up, my favorite sport to watch on TV, believe it or not, is football.
Okay.
I'll go watch it in the stadium too, but I actually like watching it on TV just because
It's completely different.
It is. It's a whole
Completely
different perspective.
experience.
And of course, baseball second. I play volleyball, so
Okay.
I do like watching volleyball, but it's not a competitive sport yearly, so you only
Yeah.
get to see it during the Olympics or beach. So yeah, and then obviously I love all kinds of other sports too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning how to play golf. learning.
I think everybody's still learning how to play golf.
And I'm not terrible. I do have a swing like a baseball bat. My golf pros told me, Jen, you don't have to hit it that hard.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's like you think just nice finesse.
I know.
Keep that back elbow straight. Like I
I always wonder,
I don't
why
think that's
does
good
my
advice.
back hurt after I golf? Probably because I'm trying to hit it too hard.
Yeah. I mean, golf's one that is you could have 10 straight good days, feel
Yeah.
on top of the world, and then you just have that one bad performance, and it's
Yeah.
like a domino effect.
I'm
Almost.
at that point in my golf life, career, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That they're like, what's your handicap? I'm like, I still am not even keeping track because it doesn't matter.
Oh, you play what's your handicap? I'm like, I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. I don't even.
And I'm not gonna.
I think I shot like a 95 the other day. Is that good? I don't know.
I
It's like
know.
they're like, no, not really.
Yeah, I have short-term goals. I did good on the drive. I got it down the fairway. I'm good.
I think I was a part of the club golf team my freshman year at Grand Canyon.
Oh, there you
just
are.
trying to learn. Still wasn't great. I had an internship in play-by-play. It was the California Collegiate Summer League
Mm-hmm.
that year, and Jake Boone, who's Brett Boone's son, was on our
Oh
team.
yeah, yeah.
And it was, I think, the Yankee, because this was the first year Aaron was the Yankees manager.
Okay.
And they were in town playing the Angels or whatever, and they were all gonna go golfing. They're just like, hey, Jack, we got it was like me and like 2 other kids, like, you guys wanna come golfing? And I'm like, yeah, of course I'd go golfing with those guys. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna shoot like a 130.
Yeah.
And then something happened, they canceled. I'm like, low-key kind of excited that they canceled. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna swing and miss in front of Aaron Boone and be like, just kidding.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been terrible, because those guys
know.
golf all the time.
I know. Actually, athletes are pretty good at golf. Well, not all athletes. I have watched like Charles Barkley golf and a few other
Oh,
people.
yeah. Well, he lives on the golf course out
But yeah,
here,
so he's got a hack for a
you'd think
swing.
he'd be decent. You'd think he'd be decent, but he's not.
There's some really good golfers out though. For
Does
sure.
Clay play?
Yeah. Actually, everyone in our family plays. Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Golf, I mean, if you're a baseball player, you
Yeah.
get out on the golf course quite a
Exactly.
lot. No, I mean, that's so cool. We got the Little League World Series on here, too.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm curious if you were one of those moms
Yes.
in the bleachers
I
that was
was.
just like in everybody's grill, or if you were just kind of
know,
calm, cool, and collected.
I mean, yeah. It was definitely, there's a culture
Yeah.
of being a parent of
Of
a Little
course.
League World Series kid.
Yep.
And I was not the, team parent, and I wasn't the team cheerleader.
Yeah.
So we did have a particular, one of our coaches' wives, her name was Joan, was kind of the lead on everything. We'd have like matching shirts, and we had to have it blinged out.
Of course.
And so yeah, I mean, I kind of like followed the lead on that.
That's
so,
good.
Yes. And then
That's good.
they had chants. I didn't create chants. Low key, that's not me.
Nope.
Little softball chants in the stand, no.
No.
But, yeah.
Oh, the softball chants are the worst.
Yeah.
Terrible. I mean, you would do them in the dugout when I
I
was in like
know.
5th grade. I'm
I
like,
know.
this is kind of weird.
I know.
I don't like doing this.
But at the same time, it is pretty cool to see your kid do what they do, and it's actually a pretty cool experience for sure.
Were there any like really bad or really memorable fights in the crowd with other parents?
No, actually not at all. I will tell you what was memorable. It's actually kind of unique to our team. So we were the West. So Cody played on the West team. And we had just played with Mike Mussina with
Oh,
the
nice.
Yankees.
Yeah.
And so Gianna Mussina and I remained friends. And I had told her that we were going to come to Williamsport. And they live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And they actually live about 20 minutes away from Williamsport. So
Nice.
she's like, where are you staying? And I said, well, this is the crazy part about the whole Williamsport experience.
Yeah.
So you don't know you're going till literally the last game.
Yep.
And most parents don't have plane tickets to go. So you're like, and then the plane tickets last minute are through the roof.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, I don't believe in jinxing. So when we were here in the state level in Arizona, we're playing on Prescott, I'm like, I am booking my ticket now. It's only $350 round trip to fly into Williamsport, not to Philly and drive, but into Williamsport. So I booked my ticket, didn't tell anybody I did it. I said, I'm just going to trust it. If not, I'll bank it for another trip. And everyone's scrambling last minute to get plane tickets. Everyone's scrambling last minute to get rental cars. Everyone's scrambling to find a place to stay. I already called up the Messinas. They said I could stay with them. I could borrow their car. And I had a plane ticket into Williamsport. So, fun fact, when it does rain in Pennsylvania, and we had a rain out, and these, all the players stay in a cool little like dormitory kind of place right on campus, right? And there's only so many bowling alleys. There's only so many places these players can go, and you're pretty much locked in. So I'm staying at the Messinas, and Gianna says, if the players want to come here. So Mike's got this really nice acreage, and he's got a really nice, like, huge gymnasium with like indoor sport courts, and of course everything else. And so this is a cool thing. His son Bryson, I don't remember how old he was at the time, maybe 9, 10. When Jana said, hey, I think the West team's going to come here and hang out for a couple hours today. Now, by the way, it was on the down low because Mike was still playing, so no media was allowed to follow us, and nobody could know about it, which was fair. And Bryson was like, wait, what? The West team's coming to my house?
Yeah.
Like, he got more excited about these Little League players coming than the fact that his dad is Mike Messina.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, yeah, he was waiting at the very bottom in the golf cart, super excited the bus pulled up. So, super fun experience for the players because they got to hang out at Mike Messina's house and shoot around some basketballs, and he had some arcade games and some other fun things for the kids to do for a couple hours. So,
I'm sure.
And
great
of course,
food, great company.
Mike's sons were super excited to have them here, and it was so fun.
Isn't that fun? I mean, as someone who did not grow up with a Major League Baseball player for a dad, I could say, like, I had friends who were just like, it's just normal.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that was kind of a unique experience for the West team. They got to have a memory from that. So
That's so cool, too. And you guys raised them here in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I mean, by default, Clay was playing for the Giants when we first met, and we had AAA out here called the Phoenix Firebirds. So we were here for AAA for the Diamondbacks weren't even a thing. And then after he ended up signing with, obviously the Yankees at some point, and it just made sense to have a home base. A lot of athletes want to have home bases, unless you sign a multi-year deal, and that could be your home base. So home base for Arizona, if you're a baseball player, makes sense because 15 teams spring train here. So the odds are 1 out of 2 teams are going to maybe get signed. It's going to be in Arizona. Of course, we had all the East Coast teams, and we're all in Florida, but it still was like, it might make sense just to stay. So that's
nice.
Why. Yeah.
Because even with Cody signing with the Cubs, just here for spring training in Mesa.
Exactly.
Nice. And then next year it could be completely different out in the Grapefruit League. Potentially, and then you just kind of make the trips out there.
And he has still a lot of friends from, he went to Hamilton High School here in Chandler, and a lot of other athletes were drafted, and this is their home base too, even though they're in the Grapefruit League. So or on the east side.
Which is nice too, because like me growing up, I visited New Jersey a couple weeks ago, and it's like everybody's just born and raised there. They've never experienced anything else. We're like people who get around and find success, whether it's in athletics or like even as a musician, and you're just traveling and touring. You meet people from all over the place that have the same experiences and have been all around the world.
And if you think about it too,
easier.
like athletes, like they especially baseball out of all the sports is the longest season, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they play the most games out of any sport out there. And so they start, you think, the season starts in whatever, late March or April, but they really start in February, and they may not end until October. Sometimes early November, depending, right?
Yep.
That's almost an entire year.
You get like 7 weeks to yourself, maybe.
Yeah, and so and even on your off days that you have, they're usually bookended by games, a night game and maybe a travel day the next day. So it's not like you really have much of a time off. So with that being said, like a lot of athletes love to, winter here because our winters here are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Arizona, you want to be in Arizona October through February. You don't want to be in Chicago, and you don't want to be in New Jersey.
Well, that's when there's so many.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't.
I don't.
I don't.
Some people like that weather, I'm just saying.
Yeah, some people are just glued to it. Like, oh, I wouldn't want
I
to go
don't
anywhere
mind
else.
visiting the snow and experiencing it for a minute, but because I lived in Kansas City, so I know what it's like.
I know some people who were born and raised out here that refer to snow, as if it's like
The
an
snow.
event. I'm like, it's not an event, it's
Right.
weather, and
There's
it's
a
not
buzz
that
from it.
cool, you know? Some people go to Flagstaff, I just want to see the snow.
You're right.
Snow.
You're right.
Okay.
It actually is an event.
But
That's
yeah,
true.
I mean, I would never go back to New Jersey. There's so many people there that just want to,
Yeah.
they complain about every other place.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people.
Yeah.
What's a place where you'd want to live if you did leave Arizona?
Gosh.
And not Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I love LA. I love California. I mean, right now it's a whole different world over there. There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on that it's just hard. But yeah, I'd say Phoenix is good. Obviously, being in real estate, you know, I would love to maybe
Yeah.
live in, like, I love Colorado, but I love the beach. So I
Yeah.
kind of miss the beach. Florida, I don't know. I've been to Florida. I've been to Miami in July. I've been to Tampa in March. And there's only you know, most of the East Coast, there's only a season that I would want to live there, not full time.
Yeah.
Just because, again, not dissing on the weather there, it's just not for me. The humidity is a lot.
And there's a reason why there's so many pro athletes that come from Arizona or California.
Yeah, I
Or,
mean,
like there's very
yeah.
few, like you can name like Mike Trout or
Yeah, Florida's a great state. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love what everything's going on there right now, and there's a lot of things that I enjoy visiting
Yeah.
Florida for, but I don't know about living there full time.
no. What about Dubai?
I've been to Dubai.
Is Dubai like just like the most modern city in the world, or what's
Dubai,
the?
I went to Dubai, so I've got a couple fun little stories about that. So I had a Brittany Griner experience
No
in
way,
Dubai.
really?
Unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, but I wasn't arrested.
I was gonna say right before we came on, you said you've never been to jail.
Nope, I got
Okay.
out of it. But we live in the state of Arizona, so obviously it's recreational here to have marijuana,
Yep.
and that's Brittany Griner, you know, played for Arizona, so she obviously had whatever she had on her person
Yep.
when she went to Russia. But for Jennifer, I had what I had on my person as well that I use for personal use. I don't obviously never plan to distribute. It was just enough to get me through maybe 8 days, and it's whatever I needed to help
Yeah.
with my medical issue that I use it for. So as I'm going through customs, it got flagged. And so then I had to go through, obviously, customs and have the drug unit come in, and, you know, they had to detain me and my friend that was
Yeah.
visiting. And so basically, they do a couple things there. They usually send you back on a plane, back home,
Yeah.
confiscate what they have, and send you home. They can fine you. I think the minimum fine is $2,500, and then the minimum jail time, I think, is like 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
luckily, I had already followed like Prince Foz on Instagram, and I already kind of did my research on Dubai. So when I'm sitting there with the drug unit and with the customs guy, I befriended them, just
Yeah.
became friends. I apologized, number one, for disrespecting their country. Apologized for not knowing the law.
Yeah.
And honestly, I genuinely didn't. Like, I was honest mistake, and I had no plans to distribute. So I was just like, I'm so sorry that I even brought it for my own person. I take it. I don't want it. I can survive without it. It's
Yeah.
not a survival tool by any means. So I think that was just because when you go with a humble, apologetic, and, you know, is there anything I can do to make it right mindset, you know, they let me go with a warning. So, yeah.
See, it's kind of like with the Little League World Series. You were prepared for something to happen like that, and you just knew.
I
You're
don't
like,
know.
I'm a little bit. I got to connect out here,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna be honest.
So, I mean, everybody pay attention to the laws of where you're traveling, because everybody's different, and you can't always bring what you want to bring to these countries. So
How long ago was that?
that was 2 years ago.
So, wow, so really recent. That would have been a massive bummer for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think you would have fared if it went worst case scenario?
I mean, what I learned about Dubai. So let me tell you, there's Dubai. Honestly, they do a lot of things right.
Yeah.
My gosh, I learned a lot. So we hired a local to take us around, which is I always recommend if you're visiting another country, always hire a local.
Yeah.
They actually have pretty cool apps for that. So we hired a local, and he basically explained to us just kind of like women actually are very well respected there. There's more laws to protect women in that country than any other country.
Wow.
So if, as a female, if I felt like there was a man that was even looking at me disrespectfully or in the wrong way, or I felt threatened by that person, I would be protected right away. So that's why even with my situation, you know, coming in humbled and respectful, that they want to take care and make sure women are feeling safe in their country. So that's something that people need to know. That's important.
Wow, that's actually very fascinating. And on the topic of treating women with respect and cannabis, what's this new brand that you're coming out with? So because it is a female-based cannabis brand that you're putting together here. And again, by the time this comes out, hopefully it'll be out by now, but like what's the whole premise of it?
So here in Arizona, we had medical use for a while, right?
Of course.
And I was medically licensed to use it by my doctor, prescribed it, and I have an autoimmune disease, so it helps my inflammation in my body. And you know, the prop passed where it can become recreational, and so there was a little bit of transition between the medical side and the recreational side. We saw more brands coming to the market. So as I walked into the dispensaries, I was just recognizing that, you know, there's either extremely medical looking products that are gray, white, black, kind of boring, and then you had extremely kiddie friendly, like I said earlier, like stuff you can find in a Walgreens kids section, candy store. And so I thought there's nothing that says like feminine. There's nothing that screams feminine in here. So my friend and my business partner, Searle, and I decided to start our own female cannabis brand. It's called Lotus Flower. We actually have two. Goddess Flower is going to launch second. And basically we are creating gummies that are going to be 5 milligrams, still a 100 milligram bag. And our gummies are going to be all cocktail inspired flavors. So we're going to have a mojito, we're going to have a margarita, we're going to have a pina colada. We're going to have sex on the beach. We're going to be a little edgy with our names. We're going to rename our flowers to smoke. And so some of our names we're renaming. Obviously, we'll have indica, hybrid, and we'll have sativa. But one of the names that we're going to use is Pop Cherry. So we'll have Pop Cherry gummies. We'll have Pop Cherry flower. We'll have Pop Cherry distillate. So,
just an entire brand, like
we'll have cartridges as well. So we're gonna play around with some of our names and our flavor profiles. We hired a cordon bleu chef with our licensee that we work under, and he's helping create these flavor profiles for us.
Nice. Is the Pop Cherry brand the edgiest of the names, or?
I mean, I'd say it's because it's cocktail inspired. So you've got sex on the beach, and so the Pop Cherry is actually a drink. I mean, I created the drink. It's actually like a Shirley Temple but with alcohol. And it's got cherry cordial in it, and so you've got vodka in there too. So
nice.
Kind of tastes
only
like a
Shirley Temple
Shirley
you want to
Temple.
have.
It's a spiked Shirley Temple, basically.
Wow, I'm stunned.
That's the flavor.
I'm stunned no one's ever come up with that concept before. Because Shirley Temple is such a popular drink.
Well, I might have just given it away.
No, I'll come out with this in like a month or two. Who knows?
I just want to
We'll keep your secret.
I just want to cut.
Yeah, of course. Everybody does. Everybody does. But that's such a fascinating thing too, because in today's world, I don't know how many states are left where it's not legal.
Oh, quite a bit, actually.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we still, I mean, like Minnesota just became legal. There's some that are still working their way through, but every state has their own like jurisdictions and restrictions and laws about it, and so nothing is fluid with that quite yet, you know, and that's okay. So our goal is to obviously launch in Arizona, and then they call it MSOs, so multiple state operators. So we'll hopefully get MSO licensing. We'll go to other states, and we'll be able to launch our brand there too.
So cool. And like building your own stuff too, you learn the ins and outs of what you can do and what you can't do, and you make certain mistakes, and you kind of just roll with it.
Exactly.
What is the biggest learning curve or mistake you ever made as a business owner that you look back at now and are like, that was stupid?
Well, I'll be honest, waiting too long because of fear.
Really?
That's the biggest mistake people make. There's so many people that have visions and ideas of things they want to do, right?
Yeah.
But then they're like, I just don't know how to start, or I just don't know where to begin, or fear of failure. And you're going to fail. You're going to fail. But what's fun about starting something like this is that, you know, it's synergistic. Like you start to kind of have conversation with someone else, and that's kind of how we started, just having conversation, and then someone else is like, oh, well, I used to work in the cannabis business. What are you guys doing? And then you have that conversation, and then, you know, we thought we were going to partner with someone else on this, and that didn't work out. So we failed, right? But then we're like, oh, back to the drawing board. Who else can we partner with? And, you know, just eventually getting through that, you know, and it takes time. Like, that's the other thing. You have to give yourself time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be instant success. I've yet to pay myself. We
Yeah.
haven't even launched yet. And, there's cost involved. And obviously being a cannabis brand, you're not going to find capital investors all over the place because it's a different investment.
It's a different genre for sure.
An entity. So, yeah, it's just different. So I'd say fear is probably, I would just tell people, like, you got to step over fear and understand you are going to fail.
The thing is, if you're already going to fail, you may as well fail now instead of waiting 5 years down the line. We're like, I'm ready, and then you start failing then, and so you just wasted your time because you're just going to fail no matter what. You may as well fail, learn from your mistakes, and actually continue to make those tweaks. That's going to eventually down the line.
When I became a realtor, I actually transitioned from what I was doing into real estate during COVID.
Yeah.
And probably before the interest rates did the crazy swing going low. So it was definitely a risk to go into a new business, not guaranteed to have income because you're 1099, you're, commission only.
Yeah.
So, it's a risk. And I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. And I wanted to do it so many years ago. Like, I remember 10 years ago, I should become a realtor. I should do real estate. I love real estate. I love that now Joanna Gaines became, the Joanna Gaines stuff. Like, I love, remodeling and flipping homes, and I love that kind of stuff, right? And I don't mind swinging a hammer. I know what to do.
That's nice, yeah.
So I get excited about stuff like that. I should have done it years ago. I kind of feel like I missed out on so much opportunity because I waited too long.
So what was it for you? The fear of it being commission only?
Yeah.
Was it a finance thing?
Yeah, probably. I think, you go, because I've done other things that are commission only.
Yeah.
And I've done sales that are commission only. And you got it. You got to work hard for that money. And that doesn't always mean you're going to get paid. So you can work hard and not get paid.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
In today's world,
Yeah.
commission only reigns supreme. I don't think you can apply for a job anywhere without it being, I think it's commission only.
Yeah.
I don't think guaranteed salary is, it's kind of on its way out, which is kind
And
of.
I feel like with real estate now, we obviously, anybody could have sold a house, during COVID. But now this is really the trying times when, the market here in Arizona is actually still, we actually have quite a market still. It's slowed down tremendously, don't get me wrong. Interest rates have sabotaged that a little bit, but it's still working. I still got listings, I still have buyers, I still have people that want to buy Airbnbs here, and that's still a thing. Business here is still booming.
What would you say, because one of our cameramen here
Yeah.
took the real estate exam.
Oh.
How difficult is that exam?
I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, 7. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I did not pass the school exam first time. So I went to the Arizona School of Business and Real Estate 3 times. Actually, maybe 4. I just stopped telling people I was taking it because at that point I was like, it's embarrassing. I can't pass this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? And I knew what area I was weak in. And so I go back to the computer and study, and then you go back and take the test again. But I'll tell you what, it did prepare me for the state. So once I took the state exam, I got in a car accident on the way there. I'm like, I'm not missing the state exam.
Yeah,
It was
right.
during COVID. There's only so many places that were open to take it. And so I went and took it at this remote part over by the airport and passed first time.
So how did you get there? Did you take an Uber or?
Well, no, my car is still drivable even though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a broom, but literally, it was no lie. A broom flies off the landscape truck. The UPS truck avoids it, hits off the bumper of the UPS truck tire. I'm in the fast lane on the freeway, and it comes like a helicopter.
Nice.
This broom.
Nice.
And it's one of those push brooms. So it wasn't like a tiny broom. It comes
Yeah.
I'm like, and it went crash right into my front end and then hits my windshield, and I'm like, and it damaged so much to where my insurance adjuster calls me, he's like, a broom did this? I'm like, yes. And then another insurance adjuster called and said, I don't think so, after they came and checked out my car. This is the best part. I'm like, all right, I gotta explain physics to you guys.
Yeah.
Have you ever played baseball? And they're like, well, yeah. Have you ever played catch? Yeah. If you're playing catch, does the ball hurt if it hits you? No. Okay, what if the ball's coming off a bat and you're in the stands, it hits you? How does that feel? And they're like, well, yeah, that would hurt. I'm like, that's exactly what happened to that broom. It hit off something. So the law of physics is it came at me a little bit faster than normal.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, that makes sense.
Oh, thank you
Then
for
I got
explaining it in guy terms.
And then they paid. It was
Sports.
non-comprehensive, and they paid for it, so it was good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Battling adversity to get what you want. That's crazy. And that was only a few years ago, too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So what's been the most exciting aspect? Because you said that you really enjoyed the aspects of real estate before you even decided to okay, I'm going 2 feet into this.
Yeah.
What's been the most exciting part about real estate? For people that are kind of in your boat of oh, I think I'd be great at it, but it's too risky.
I'd say I have an eye for seeing what potentially a home has potential. So a
Yeah.
lot of people don't have that vision. So they'll come in and go, oh gosh, this kitchen, oh, these cabinets, oh, the flooring. And then I'm like, but wait, like this house is priced, you can actually do all that for less than whatever price point I say, right? Depending on the house. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. I mean, my contractor can come in and knock this stuff out in less than a week, if that's what you
Yeah.
want. And they're like, oh, wow. So then it's like, then they start to realize, okay, maybe this is a better option for us than the already remodeled one that's maybe not exactly what they want, but it's less work and they don't feel intimidated.
Yeah.
And so I love to like give people a vision, and then I'd say negotiating. I like
That's always the
negotiating.
learning curve. in
I like
any
to
business.
negotiate.
In any
I'm a good
business.
communicator, so I like to negotiate, and I
Yeah.
feel like you don't always win, but you always gotta. In real estate, you always gotta show that somebody push and pull a little bit, because obviously the seller wants a certain thing, the buyer needs a certain thing, and our job as two agents representing each side
Yeah.
is to somehow get to the finish line, and we got to meet in the middle somewhere, and that's our job. So if I have a really good agent I'm working with on the other end, it's my favorite, because then they enjoy working with me too, and we both figure things out. We communicate on behalf of our agent, our clients, and the agent I'm working with is a good communicator. It helps really well. Yeah.
So do you have like an exact script in your head almost when it comes to negotiating now?
Not
Or is
at
it every client's different?
Well, I mean, I think if I am showing a buyer a property and they are like, okay, so it's listed a certain price, right?
Yeah.
And I always look at the number of days it's on the market. Those are kind of like these are my check marks. How many days have been on the market? What's the price point? Have they already dropped the price at all? Look up other homes in the area and what they've sold for in similar square footage and bedrooms and updates, right? Even though I'm not, one of those, that can figure that out entirely, you can get an idea. And then you basically call and just say, okay, tell me the story about the seller. What is the seller looking for, especially during the crazy market? What is the seller looking for? Have you had any offers? Have any offers come close to your asking price? If you've declined those offers. And so you can a lot of agents won't give away information, but you can work an angle around to get information without them giving away the information.
Okay.
So you can find information out, believe it or not, by doing that. And that helps. And that helps my buyer go, well, if I say, yeah, that seller's had offers almost close to asking and he's not taking them, that's not the house for us right now.
Yeah.
Because he's not willing to budge on his price. Even though I can say, no, you try to be careful because you don't want to step on an agent's toes, because sometimes it's not at the discretion of the agent. Sometimes it's the seller saying, I want this out of my house. Even though the agent will say, well, we'll probably do better if we're listed at this price. So it's actually important to say to the agent, like, did you know that house down the street sold for $20,000 less? And that was during the COVID, right? When things were a little bit busier. So I'm just asking where the evaluation might come in for an extra $20,000 for this one. Oh, well, because my client did A, B, or C to the house, or it has this or this to the house, and they may try to nickel and dime it to make it sound like it's worth the $20,000.
Man.
So yeah, that's what you do.
So you know what you're doing, which is
I
good,
try.
right? What was like your initial, like as a kid, what you wanted to do growing up? Like what was your like initial dream?
Well, two things. I love music.
Nice.
Love music.
What kind of music?
I'm eclectic. I like all of it.
Okay.
I will go to any concert. I've been to Rufus. I like R&B. I like hip hop. I like obviously EDM with Rufus.
Yeah.
I like country. I like reggaeton. I've been to reggaeton concerts.
Nice.
I've been to Bad Bunny concerts.
Nice.
So yeah, I love music. So I thought, oh my gosh, I love music. I'm gonna be a singer, and then I realized I couldn't sing
Hey,
or
if
play an
you-
instrument.
I was watching a video the other day of Ed Sheeran. He was on like the Graham Norton show, and he was playing like an audio of like one of the first times he ever sang while playing the guitar.
Yeah.
It was god awful. I'm like, no, you actually have to like practice and
But
like
singing,
have.
I think you have to have a gift. Like I didn't have a gift. I didn't have an ear for the music.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I can sing okay, but I never would ever be able to lead a band.
Oh, there's like that musical timing too. You gotta hit.
Oh, yeah.
Like
There's
my
no
brother's
way.
in a band. I sang one song in our
Yeah.
basement one time. I'm like, this is hard being a front man.
I know. So
Like
I know, and on my bucket list still to this day, I know it sounds ridiculous. I want to learn how to play the drums. I really do.
Drums
It's
are a
on
lot
a
of
bucket
fun.
list, and I still have yet to learn. But so music, I'd say like I loved it so much. But then, just like you, I loved sports a lot. And I thought, well, maybe this is before the Aaron Andrews
Yeah.
and all them.
Oh, of
So
course.
Linda Cohn actually inspired
Yeah.
me. She was one of the first females on ESPN, and so I remember watching Linda Cohn. I'm like, wow, when ESPN came out, I'm like, I would love to do that, right? And I was still young enough I could have, but then I had a family young, and it's just like,
Yeah.
other things took priority.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. But you can always, like, in the back of your head, think, like, okay, I'm raising these kids, and once they get to a certain
Yeah.
age, I can actually start doing my own thing. Because I argue with people all the time, and I'll ask you this, too, in a second, but some people will prioritize their kids to the point where, like, oh, I'm a parent now, I can't focus on any of my own dreams. Where there are other people that, like, they might be tired, but it's like, I want to live my life, too. While raising these kids,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
I
And it all
would-
depends on certain circumstances of,
Agree.
you know, but
And I think by default, sometimes, you know, you get, because of your kids' goals and their dreams, you pursue that with them.
yeah.
And so we are a family that we were athletic.
Yeah.
So all of my kids were in sports. And do the math, there's 3 kids and 2 parents. So
Yeah.
you're going from zigzagging all weekend from point A to point B, plus practices throughout the week. And you can't be at 3 different places at the same
Right.
time. And then, you know, obviously Clay played baseball, then he was a firefighter, so he's not home a lot. So then it's really Jennifer that's trying
Yeah.
to navigate
Yeah.
3 kids' sports, 3
Yeah.
kids' practices, plus him being gone sometimes months at a time and trying to do it all by myself.
Yeah.
So I had to give up my dreams and my
Mm-hmm.
goals because I had no choice.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what you do. You have no choice.
Now, was that like a thing that you guys talked about,
No.
or was it just like that was the deal?
Yeah, it was just default. Yeah,
Yeah.
by default. You know, let them pursue their dreams, let him pursue their dreams, and I'll get my shot when they're all done.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of, it's like a rebirth. And I encourage anybody, like, it's never too late to do anything. It's never too late to start. Never.
No, never. I mean, you wanted to be a mother, but you also had your own dreams.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, right now I got to put this stuff on hold, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna. That's probably the exciting thing for you. Like once you know they're off and running, I can do
Yeah.
my own stuff.
I mean,
Keeps you excited.
I look at parenting this way. Like, our job is, you know, for the rest of their lives as a parent. But, like,
Yeah.
I feel strongly, like, you know, the umbilical cord was cut at birth.
Yeah.
And you slowly start to let them be independent and figure out their path and their dream. And once they do, you're just like, nice, go. You know, you know, did well, and now it's time for me to find
Yeah.
my next path or journey. And again, it's super exciting, and I obviously love what I do. I love to travel.
Yeah.
I love real estate. I love starting businesses, and I love to work out. So I get to do it all.
Yeah, you get to do it. Literally, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, like monetize off of all of your passions.
Yeah.
Which not everybody gets to do. Sometimes I take this for granted. I'm like, I
know.
could be at a desk right now.
I know. I thought about it. Actually, to be honest, like, I thought about even a podcast. I think it'd be fun. Have like a girls' podcast and talk about everything from.
As long as you have all your production taken care of, I
Yeah.
got a great
Just have
video
to hire
team.
them.
I got a great video team to hook you guys up with. It's easy.
I know.
You know?
I know.
Once you don't have to edit or deal with all the editing and all that, just show up, talk to your friends, have a good
Exactly.
time. It's so much fun. It's
know.
so much easier too.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's freeing too. I try to pick jobs. I'm very independent, so I want to pick jobs that I don't have a 9-to-5 desk job.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. And so I try to find jobs that I can be fluid and stuff that I can make money and be fluid. And so I want to follow Cody, watch him play baseball. I want to, you know,
course.
visit my family in different states. And so that's, you know, my dream is to do stuff where I can be fluid.
I always enjoy asking parents, because you're a mother who's raised a daughter and 2 sons.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier raising a girl or is it easier raising a boy as a mother? Because fathers will tell you female or daughters were way easier to raise, or I think it's different.
I think it's personality based. I don't think
You
it's
think?
I don't think it's gender based. I think for sure, like, Ashli was probably the easiest because
Okay.
she just is certain personality type. Like, she
Yeah.
just has this very easygoing energy. She was always a perfectionist. She always wanted to get good grades. She hated to disappoint herself, number one, let alone someone else. And she was really good at balancing school and sports. She was just that perfect kid. And then you got Cody. So Cody is the middle child. I don't know if birth order affects these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cody actually was afraid to make mistakes. He didn't want to get in trouble. He did get in trouble a few times, and he was like, I didn't like that. Like, oh, I didn't like
Get that sting feeling.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't like that at all. And so he was just like, I don't like that, so I don't even want to do that again. And so he was fear of getting caught or fear of getting in trouble. So plus, I think we instilled in our kids a long time ago when they're younger, like, if you are pursuing your passion in sports, you know, this is your, not that we encourage our kids to go pro, because you never know. It's very rare that a kid goes pro in anything. We always said that this could be also like your academics has to come first, but then sports can help boost maybe your academics, and you
Of
could
course.
go to college and get, that's what I did. my college was paid for, and through my athletics. So I came out of college debt free, and so I told them, I'm like, you guys can do that too. You know, be really good in school and then really good in your sport, and you can go to school. And you could go to NCAA, you can go to NAIA. There's so many other schools out there. In fact, there's sometimes more money in NAIA than there is in NCAA.
Yeah.
And a lot of these families don't even think about that. And there's so many great NAIA schools, especially in Colorado. So we encourage our kids to do that, but with that came responsibility.
Of course.
Right? So if you want to get accepted into a college, that means you can't be doing what some of these other kids that don't want to go to college are doing on Friday night after the football game, right? You have to make choices, and there are, you know, I always say for every action, there's a reaction. So is your action going to be positive, and your reaction going to be positive, or is it going to be negative? It could be negative. So that's what I instilled in my kids young.
Which is good, because
Yeah.
a lot of kids these days don't have that.
Yeah.
It's like if you really want
Yeah.
to succeed at I mean, like you said, like in order to get this for, you know, financially free, let's say,
Yeah.
you have to keep your grades up, but at the same time, I mean, keep your grades respectable, but be a really good athlete, which that in itself is very difficult.
Right.
That might not work out. All it takes is one injury.
Exactly.
And it's over.
And we had injuries. Our kids all had injuries of some sort. You know, you just battle back. So I remember you saying you wanted to be a sportscaster. So if you were to think, who would be your favorite player of all time of any sport? If you do have one, like an idolized
Favorite
player.
player?
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything generic that anybody would say. I grew up, like I said, a huge Yankee fan.
Yep.
I thought Nick Swisher, from a character standpoint, was by far, like I
remember
looked up
Nick,
to.
yeah.
I looked up to him just because
Yeah.
he was always in
I
a great
remember him.
mood.
Yeah.
Always great with the media.
Yeah.
Always great, like obviously like Derek Jeter, or
Right.
Mariano Rivera,
Right.
or any one of those guys. Trying to think. I don't know if I have one specifically, because again, like
Right.
even being 24 years old, I love sports. I love all of that. I look at like personalities and
Yes,
characters over like,
exactly.
oh, they were my favorite player.
And off the field and on the field. Yeah.
It's like I want to
Yeah.
talk to a great human being that I
Exactly.
can build a relationship with, as
Exactly,
opposed to
yeah.
just being like, oh, cool, I got to talk to LeBron James for 5
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
but he didn't remember my name
Yeah.
or anything like that. It would be cool to interview people like that. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to, baseball players, yeah, like a guy like Swisher or Johnny Damon, for instance, was
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Today's world, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I should know the answer to that question.
All
but
right.
it's
Now
like,
now you'll have to think about
but
it.
it's like there's so many big personalities today. Like I got to interview Tim Anderson a few years ago from the White Sox.
Yeah.
He's like soft spoken, but at the same time,
Yeah.
everything he said was kind of controversial.
Right.
Which I'm like, that's kind of a weird mashup where he's quiet, but he's saying things that are
Right.
kind of off color for the media to kind of take
Right.
in. What about you? Did you have one in mind when you asked that, or?
No, actually, I was just curious if you did. I would say, I don't have favorites.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Cody Bellinger.
Of course.
Of course.
My son.
Outside of that, no, I'd say I respect a lot of players in the game. It's not an easy.
Yeah.
It's not an easy sport. Even NFL, I was telling you earlier, I was watching that quarterback series of the Netflix, and it gives you that whole new perspective of like
Yeah.
athletes' lives, like Pat Mahomes and Kirk Cousins. But I'd say in baseball, going back to that generation you just said, the most underrated player from that generation, I think, Scott Brocious, third baseman.
Of course. I mean, yeah, that 2001 World Series. I remember that home run. but
He was like solid. He was always clutch for us. He had the best defense. He like literally hugged that line on third base. He did amazing plays. So I'd say probably the most underrated. So I say one of my I love kind of like underrated players, right? That you don't even think about that actually are game changers,
that
right?
had big moments
Yeah,
like that, right?
yeah.
I'm trying to think that.
That's kind of my favorite type of like sport. And
Yeah.
when I look at an athlete, I'm like, oh, you were like not the phenom, right?
No.
But you made the difference, right?
It's like
So-
you bring that name up, you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they were around. Like that entire, like there was trying to think that 98
Well, we
to
had
01
Tino
era.
Martinez at first. We had Chuck Knobloch
Chuck
at
Knobloch,
and
God.
you know, remember that?
So
Do
like,
you remember what happened to him?
he had like the yips, right?
Yeah.
Where he just could not throw a baseball.
Do you know right now, if you look up in the psychology books, it's called the Knobloch effect.
Oh, so I didn't make my freshman year high school team because I had the yips. And my dad was
No
just
way.
like, I grew up with Chuck Knobloch. I know exactly what you're going through. I like literally like from
Yeah.
me to you could not
Yeah.
throw it to your mid. It was
No
like
way.
going that way. I'm like, oh my God.
Really?
The entire week tryout,
Oh,
I couldn't
no.
throw a baseball. It was brutal.
Yeah, so it's a thing. I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
It happens in anything. Like you could be driving a car and you
I
just
know.
forget how to drive your car.
I know.
Now you're on the road and you have no idea what
It's
you're
like a
doing.
block, but yeah, and then obviously shortstop Derek Jeter, the greatest of all time. And then we had Brocious at third, and then behind the plate we had Girardi for a while. And then
That's right.
Then we had Posada.
Posada was a youngster.
Yeah. Posada then came and took over, and Girardi retired. Now Girardi, he managed for a while, and now he's doing broadcasting. But and then the outfield we had Bernie Williams as our center fielder.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we had Tim Raines. We had a variation of like right fielders and left fielders. We had Tim Raines.
Like David Justice, I think,
Justice,
joined
Jose
at one point.
Canseco came back. Dale Strawberry came back for a minute. So yeah, we had quite
Paul
a few.
O'Neill. Why did I not?
Paul
think of
O'Neill was
Paul
our
O'Neill?
main right fielder. Yes, you're right. So yeah, so that was a good.
That was a good group of guys
it was.
too.
I know.
I feel like every team needs that group of like personalities that might get in trouble, and then those character builders.
Yeah. And then for starters, we had Roger Clemens, and we had Mike Messina, and we had Andy Pettit. I mean, we had.
You can't beat that.
And then of course we had Mario Rivera. I mean,
I know.
Enter Sandman. He was
The
the best.
greatest entrance music
Yeah.
of all time.
He's actually one of my. I would say. I still keep in touch with some people. I still keep in touch with the Pettits, Laura and Andy. They're still friends of mine. And then same with the Clemens. In
Yeah.
fact, I just saw Debbie recently here in Phoenix, and Roger.
Nice.
And so yeah, I mean, we still keep in touch with a lot of those families.
Yeah.
So,
It's difficult in today's
yeah.
world too, especially like
Yeah.
with both of you guys having sons in the major leagues too.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of just bouncing around.
Well, it's actually kind of cool. So the Clemens youngest is Cody with a K, of course. So I don't know if everyone knows, but Clemens named all his kids K's
K.
for strikeouts.
Casey was my first
Yeah.
ever baseball interview.
Oh, there you go.
5 years ago. Yeah.
So they have Corey, Casey, and then they've got Colby, and then they've got Cody's youngest. But so Cody is playing, and so my Cody and their Cody happened to be on first base after my son got a hit, and he was playing first base for them. I was with the Detroit Tigers. So so that was kind of a fun little fact that they are
That's so
friends in the
cool.
clubhouse, and then
Uh-huh.
they're actually on the big league team together. So
That's so
on
cool.
opposing teams, but yeah.
Right. That's such a cool
Yeah.
experience, especially for parents to kind of just
Yeah.
chat about and
Yeah,
have
so
a good
second
time with it.
generation, it's kind of cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's tough too because Cody's got to live up to Roger. I mean, he doesn't have to live
No,
up to
gosh,
any, but
no.
like, of course, media-wise, we
Yeah.
were saying before, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like as well as Cody's performed, Cole, like you said, is kind of on that
Yeah,
run where
so
it's like, oh, he's
Cole quit, and I mean in a healthy way. Like he had Tommy John surgery, and it's not always the end of the road for most
Yeah.
people, but for Cole it was, and he chose a different path, and so he's trying to become a pilot, and so that's kind of exciting. So he's going
way
through
cooler than being a pro
going
athlete.
through flight school right now. He gets to do his solo here in the next week or so that'll be exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is a cool thing to
Yeah.
say because talking about like working a desk job or doing this, doing that,
Yeah.
like I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely moved on from sports, but so yeah, he does that now, and yeah, Cody's doing what he's doing in Chicago, so it's a lot of fun.
Just a lot of bouncing around.
lot of
Nothing's
fun to watch.
changed as a parent, huh?
No, actually.
What's the difference between being a parent and a grandparent?
Well, I think because I mean, obviously my son Cody does live here in the off season, so I do get to see them a lot in the off season. But I think it's just, I mean, I'm still trying to do my thing, so it's like get to enjoy their time, and I'm that type of like mother-in-law or mother that I try not to be like overbearing. I try not to be like too much in their space. Obviously, I love to see my family. That's priority to me. I love to see my grandkids, but yeah, I mean it's on their time and their schedules too. They're busy.
Yeah.
They got friends and they've got events and they've got things to do. So I think just building and bonding with them is important.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing I think is just spending quality time. Maybe not quantity, but quality
The
time.
quality.
Yeah.
Like whenever you do see them,
Yeah.
it's like you have something planned.
Yeah.
You're doing
Yeah.
something.
And our family is pretty tight knit. We do things together quite a bit. So
Yeah. I see that on social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a tight knit group, the
Yeah.
Bellinger family, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff.
Especially when like everybody's all over the place traveling and
Exactly, it's not easy.
You're all
Not everyone lives
communicating.
here. I mean, Cole lives here, Cody does live here, Ashley lives in Los Angeles.
okay.
Yeah,
That's a 6-hour drive. That's a 2-hour
the worst
flight.
drive ever.
I know, right?
I'd rather fly.
I was doing coverage for, it was WWE WrestleMania at SoFi Stadium in April. And I had to be here for a podcast interview at like 10 a.m. the next morning.
Right.
So it was Sunday night at like 10 p.m. I made that drive, got back at like 3:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
napped for a couple of hours, and then was up.
So yeah, I mean, I don't mind driving to San Diego. For some reason, that drive doesn't feel as daunting as the Los Angeles drive.
Yeah.
I think it's because that's that extra on the 10 to actually get into Los Angeles or into Orange County. I feel like that's where all that traffic starts. And you're just like, takes you 2 more hours to go 20 miles.
What is another, I guess it doesn't have to be a baseball city specifically, but another city that you'd enjoy to see Cody play at if he had, like if it was a place he had to go travel to?
Well, obviously San Diego. I think Petco is, I mean, I would say Dodger Stadium by far is my favorite stadium because of the energy, the history. You cannot compare that experience in Los Angeles. However, Petco is my favorite experience. They have great energy too. It's smaller, obviously, ballpark. But to be like right there in that gas lamp. So LA, as you know, is up on a hill. You know, it takes a lot of traffic and a lot of turns to get into the stadium to park. And if you don't park at the stadium, you're on a bus and you're going from, you know, whatever. So it's the actual location of LA, Dodger Stadium. There's not a whole lot of culture outside of that, right? Yeah. Culture there. You know, San Diego's cool. Like, you got the gas lamp, you've got all the restaurants, you got all the, you know, hotels. There's people hanging out.
One of the best downtown areas, I think.
Yeah, and then once you get into Petco did a very good job with like bringing in like tons of vendors. So you've got all the craft beers and you've got craft cocktails and all kinds of food experiences that you don't get at normal ballparks. So they made it really kind of enjoyable on all levels like that. So I like Petco for that reason. I like San Diego. I mean, New York has its own, again, that's a whole different, you know, energy too. Like
East Coast versus West Coast, very different. Yeah.
And again, Yankee Stadium's not the Yankee Stadium that I knew.
It's
right?
like a mall now.
It's different.
It's very generic.
It's not the original. So, I mean, it's different, but it's still Yankees, and there's always history there.
Yeah.
And I would say Chicago Cubs, you know, again, as far as history, you know, Wrigley. I mean, that's just, I mean, to say you played at Wrigley, let alone played on the Cubs, like that's, and you got the ivy in the back, and you know the history there. So my mom's family is all from Chicago, so she grew up, you know, watching Cubs games. So it's kind of cool.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I'd say Chicago obviously is pretty cool. I did look up. I've not been to every ballpark.
Really?
So that's on my bucket list now.
That's interesting.
Yes. So I've got a few. Pittsburgh is one, and they're going there right now, and I'm not there. So I'll maybe knock it out next year, but. Pittsburgh, I've never been to. I've never been to St. Louis.
St. Louis is amazing.
Yep.
Went there last year.
I want to go. I've never been to Detroit, and I've never been to Toronto.
Toronto's cool. Detroit, that's one where it's like, if I have to go.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not much there.
Yeah.
At least not right now.
Yeah. But I've been to all the others. So.
That's crazy that you haven't been to every huge
thought
baseball family your entire life.
Yeah, that's what I started thinking about. I'm like, have I been to every stadium? Like, oh my gosh, I don't think I have. So I started kind of figuring it out, and those are the ones I haven't been to.
Pittsburgh too, like Cody's been in the National League his entire career.
I know.
He's there almost every year.
Well, and also Cole Tucker used to play with them. I
That's
mean,
right.
for a minute, you know, and I could have gone and seen Cole and Cody, but I never went. I don't know why. Because it was so easy to go to LA. Like, I think when he was with the Dodgers, I mean, I would just fly in on a Thursday or Friday, spend the weekend, and then fly home Sunday or Monday. It's just a quick, you know, it's a 45-minute flight on Southwest Airlines or American. I just go visit for the weekend, and you know, blessed to have friends and family I can stay with out there, and made it easy. So those cities are just a little harder to get to. So
I believe it.
Yeah.
Why aren't you going to Pittsburgh? Or up for it?
I guess because I got a really big listing right now, and I need to be here to show it.
There's priorities.
Yeah.
Priorities.
I mean, I do travel here and there, but I want to get this household.
Yeah. No, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
You know? It's really cool to see that, like, no matter what you're doing, there's always something on the horizon that you didn't even know that you were going to do.
Exactly.
It's like real estate was always something that you wanted to do. You just pulled the trigger a few years ago. There's probably going to be something in the next 5 years on top of everything else that you're coming out with right now.
Well, I hope like with my businesses that I'm starting, and you know, I'm launching quite a few. I've got a few, and I say I got a lot of coals in the fire, and I'm stoking them, and they're going to start catching fire.
Yeah.
So it's just time. And like I said, that's with businesses, it takes time, and obviously you got to partner with the right people, and that becomes a synergy in itself, and then that's when you go, okay, this actually might work.
Yeah.
So a couple other things I'm kind of coming out with, and hopefully that will leverage me a little bit more to just be a little bit more, like I said, fluid and do what I need to do. I love to travel, so I just want to travel some more.
Travel might give you some time to learn how to play the drums.
Yes.
Who's your favorite drummer?
Well,
Because again, like if you're obsessed with drumming and you look at, like, I'll look at drumming reels all day. Of course, I have my favorite drummers that I think, like, oh man,
okay, well,
they're amazing.
Facts. he'd kill me if I didn't tell it. Eric Hernandez.
Okay.
So Eric and I are friends. We met at a Dodgers game, and he's the drummer for Bruno Mars. So yep, he's my favorite drummer. And Bruno Mars band is one of my favorite bands.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what I love about the Bruno Mars band is that they took like the classic performers, like from like the 60s and 70s, where you actually don't just sit behind an instrument. Like they dance and they perform, and it's the energy in those concerts are phenomenal, and they're true performers. Like they're not just musicians; they're true performers. And I think they do an amazing job. They're so creative. I got to know Eric and his whole family. Friends with his wife Cynthia and their kids. Love their kids, greatest kids. So got to know him pretty well. So yeah, he still owes me some. Eric, you owe me drum lessons.
Yeah. Drums are very difficult to learn how to play because it's all timing. It's all rhythm and it's all timing. You don't really realize it. You're just watching like, I could just smack the shit out of those drums, but you can't.
No.
You really can't.
No, it's harder than it looks. I know that. Like,
and Bruno Mars, like, I don't think anyone's ever going to come to like Michael Jackson's level of talent, but if there is one guy who came close in the modern era, it's Bruno Mars.
I agree.
He's so talented.
I agree. Yeah. I think that they did that. I mean, obviously they do an amazing job. So
yeah, it's incredible.
So Eric still owe me.
I'm sure going to games too, like meeting guys like Eric and his family or anybody else, like you really don't know who you're going to meet that day.
Yeah, I've met some amazing people. I have, and obviously in LA. Even in Chicago, actually, I've met some amazing people. Met the Malnati family,
Nice.
Lou Malnati's Pizza, the best Chicago deep dish pizza in town. We have Lou Malnati's here in Phoenix too, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
But got to meet the Malnati family. I met a bunch of people there too. So just as like I said, Los Angeles is different. You get to meet a lot of people. I went to high school out there, so a lot of the some people that I know from that are like in movies or whatever they're doing as their career, who they are. I went to high school with a lot of them, so maybe not the same years, but when you go from Santa Monica High School, where I went, a lot of people came out of Santa Monica High School. A lot of athletes came out of Santa Monica High School. A lot of celebrities or actors, actresses came out of Samo High. So, and then once they know that you're from Samo High, then there's that natural connection. And then they're Dodgers fans, and then they're Cody fans, and so you get to meet people for sure.
Which is nice. It's a nice perk to have. So what's on tap? Because again, you said like 2-3 weeks. You plan on coming out with this can of spring.
Yeah.
Where can we get this?
Yeah. So our goal is to be starting in some of the dispensaries here in Scottsdale. Because we are going to cater to, we want the bachelorettes that are coming into town that maybe aren't able to experience, legalized marijuana here because in their state or their city they're not legalized. So we want to, obviously have a brand that they can identify with. And I think, or anybody that's just like into a cocktail series, it's not just women. We're for everybody. A cocktail series, edibles, it's going to be for everybody. So our pens are going to have, we're going to do something unique about that. I don't want to give that away yet. And then all of our flour will be launching here in the next few weeks. We just bought a bunch of flour from a grower. So we're getting ready to name change all the names to match our brand. And so we'll have that in the dispensaries too. So launching in Scottsdale, and we'll branch into other dispensaries here in Phoenix.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
you got a lot of different things on your plate right now.
And we are an all-female team too. My marketing team, my sales team, we're all female owned. So we're kind of excited about that.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Where can the people find you on social media?
So Instagram is my favorite platform. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not going to lie. I don't tweet a lot.
Twitter's
and
a lot.
I only use it for news source. But Instagram is just my handle. It's just Jennifer Bellinger. I mean, it's easy.
Lucky.
Easy.
Not everybody gets just the name.
I was original.
Not everybody gets that.
Yeah, and I use my real estate under that. I am the brand, so I don't have like a real estate page, and I kind of like operate everything underneath that. And anything I'm launching, like my cannabis brand, I will promote through my Instagram as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys heard it from her first. At Jennifer Bellinger. Thank you so much for
thank
coming
you.
on the show.
Yeah.
I know you're wearing high heels. We could always shoot hoops. Or
Yeah, I'll take them off.
You want? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. So we're going to go shoot some hoops with Jennifer Bellinger. This was episode 771 of the podcast. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Jack O'Hara TV.